let's talk about OTAs first. That's coming up, man. The first one's tomorrow, and most writers go and they write about the stuff that generates the most clicks. I'm not hating on them. I do it too. But like, what's Trey Lance look like? What's Trey Sermon look like? Stuff like that. I'm the coach's worst nightmare. I'm in there looking for scheme. I'm like, man, what are the wrinkles going to be on offense and defense? And I'm not really supposed to tell you, although we'll see by preseason, and I'll explain it to you in code over the next few months. But I like to project too. What do you think are what are you expecting to see when you get out there? Some offensive changes, tweaks, evolutions this year?
I mean, honestly, I really think it's not really going to be changes. It'll just be straight up more back to basics. I think the 49ers told you with the way that they drafted 2 running backs, they drafted 2 linemen, that they just want to get right back in the saddle of running the ball no matter who the quarterback is 35, 40 times. Good luck trying to stop it, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that they're just going to basically go right back to, that run offense that they had in 2019, very much a bunch of off of play action, but they're tipping their hand on both sides the way that they drafted defensively and they drafted offensively. So, I mean, when you see, okay, you draft your franchise quarterback, you draft 2 linemen, you draft 2 running backs, clear to me that 1, you want to protect them, 2, you want to get back to bully ball and running the ball. So, I mean, as far as offensive changes, I mean, the 49ers were very run heavy last year. I just expect that they'll be run heavier, if that makes any sense. Like, I suspect them to run the ball 35, 40 times, hands down, unless they're behind, unless they're playing catch up, which, you can't do that.
Agree. I'm trying to think, like, not necessarily like new concepts in the past in the offense, but things that'll be emphasized that weren't emphasized the past 4 years. And I think I'm thinking of 2 things. And if I inspire you, let me know. But 2 things right off the bat. First of all, the play action boot game. It's been non-existent with Jimmy because he's so slow. He's so slow. Trey Lance, to me, is more accurate throwing on the run than he is in the pocket. And that's not a knock against him. He's just really good at throwing on the run. I think that's going to be a major feature of this offense because it was always a major feature of the Shanahan offenses until they got Jimmy.
So, I mean, I would agree with that, but then that lends itself to the idea that you think that Trey's going to start right away. Like, I think that they'll have those sort of packages that they go with him and they teach him, but I don't think that they'll implement that, like you said, if it's Jimmy Garoppolo and it's not Trey Lance. So, like, again, if he's a starter and we get some sort of tip that he's going to be the starter, then I expect a bunch of changes in that same exact way that you said, like with those bootlegs, much more designed runs, clearly, because one guy has wheels, the other guy doesn't. That's not his game, and off the play action, I could see them, instead of throwing passes, just having Trey take the ball and run the other way, with it. So, like, there'll be plenty more of that. But again, I totally have to know who the quarterback is. Especially
in the red zone. Now let's talk about the red zone too. I feel like even if Trey doesn't win the starting job, the play action bootleg game is going to be for him when he's a starter. But if he's not the starter right away, I still think they're going to use him. And it'll be controversial how they do it. But it seems to me like a major trend in the NFL right now is that quarterback-driven run game in the red zone. Everyone does it. You want to get to 11-on-11 football because it's so hard to run the ball otherwise in the red zone. It's just so compressed. So he could give him that. You mentioned the play action bootleg. Yeah, I mean, he could just run it off of that play. There could be, and then there could be all the the zone read, the draws and stuff like that. What do you think?
So I would point to how Colin Kaepernick was used when Alex Smith was a starter. Remember, there was a Jets game where they were in the red zone and they basically just ran the design run to the left. They did it against the Saints as well too, I believe, that same year. So I would point to that as more
stuff like that
of what you would see in the red zone, right?
Like not like between the tackles, but definitely quarterback design runs. Like, let's get you out on the edge.
Like, ball in the belly, read the defender, pull that thing out of there and go with it, or just straight up catch the ball and just go sweep. Like, everybody just move one way, and now this offensive line is able to do those things, get out there on the outside for somebody who's just all Trey would need is just a little bit of a crease. And in the red zone, if we're talking about the 2-3 yard line, can barrel his way and push that thing into the end zone.
It's worth it. These are touchdowns. I mean, if you remember last year, this was a part of the playbook Kyle was trying to implement.
Right.
They did the Wildcat with Jerick McKinnon and Richie James Jr.
And Richie James in 2019. Mm-hmm. And that's the other thing too is those sort of plays take risk out, right? There's no interception that can be thrown when it's a design run. I mean, the only risk is that you're running the risk of an injury. But we understand that Kyle, really likes what Trey brings as far as his decision making, right? So I mean, and we're talking about him putting him in a spot where he can't throw an interception because it's not a pass play, right? But it's a high percentage play, and it's a chance to really punch things in the red zone, because I think that's something that's been lacking because there's no red zone target, and the 49ers really settle for a lot of field goals based on their defense, and I don't think that, I mean, this year their schedule is kind of conducive to winning because it was a fourth place schedule, but I think the 49ers need to start turning those field goals into touchdowns if they really want to start making games easier for them down the line.
It's an element to your offense I think you have to have in 2021. I think all the forward-thinking offensive coaches have gotten it. I mean, the Patriots have it. The Saints have it. The Niners have it. You have to have it. It's not a huge part of your offense, but when you do run that package out, it's for first downs and touchdowns, especially in the red zone. It's for touchdowns. And I think real quick to get off on a tangent, and I don't want to make this political, but the Tebow thing. A lot of people are like flipping out about Tebow, and I get it. But it seems to me that Urban Meyer wants to have this part of his offense too. And I don't know who he knows in the world, but he knows Tebow, and he's used Tebow that way at Florida. And I guess they call him a tight end, whatever they want to call him. If they have a package for Tebow, it's going to be this stuff, man. It's going to be red zone, run game stuff. He might throw a pass here and there. I don't know if he'll be any good at it. Depends what kind of shape he's in. I have a feeling he's in terrific shape. I'm not rooting against Tebow. I've always felt like he was basically a nice guy who people projected a ton of stuff onto. I don't know.
I mean, honestly, this is just how the world works, right? You know somebody who knows somebody gives you a job. The problem that I have is less about, the political stuff or anything like that. And definitely not about the religion either. People bring that stuff up and try to use him as some sort of martyr. Nobody wanted him out of football because he was religious. He had a 47.9% completion percentage. True. That's why you get out of the league. To have a 47.9% completion percentage, you really have to try. That's not something that's easy. Like, you have to try to have that. I think what it is more than anything is that there's tight ends out there that are younger than him, that have played the position, that are not going to get a shot, right? Somebody like Trey Burton, who's 28 years old, who's not going to get a shot with the Jacksonville Jaguars because Urban Meyer's friend is going to come in and play a position that he's never played before. First of all, what leads you to believe that Tim Tebow could be able to play tight end? He was never fast. He's not twitchy. He's not anything that you can do. So you think he can block now? You think he can run routes?
What I'm saying is, not you.
I'm just saying Urban Meyer.
I know, of course. No, I don't think they're going to play him at tight end. I think they're going to play him at tight end like the Saints play Taysom Hill at tight end. Like, you call him whatever the hell you want to call him. Maybe they don't want to call him a quarterback for whatever reason, but I think if he makes the team, I don't know if he will, but if he does, and there's a package for him, he's going to be a quarterback. He's not going to be throwing, though. He's going to be running as a quarterback.
Right. So he'll be at the tight end position. Maybe they'll line him up there. They'll run a fake reverse. They'll throw the ball to him. He'll throw one of those ducks. And
he's not going to catch a pass.
The guy's got to be wide open, though. Like, if he's throwing a pass, that guy's got to be standing there by himself.
No. What they're going to do with him is what they did with him when he was 19. Hey, man, line up in the shotgun and run straight ahead from the 3-yard line. That's what I think they're going to do. And maybe it won't work, but I feel like that's the vision, and I get it. Like, honestly, I'm not even going to knock Urban Meyer for it, because if Jim Harbaugh became a head coach tomorrow, what would the first thing he would do?
I mean, he had Kaepernick, and he used him in that same exact way. Yeah.
He was sign Colin first thing. I don't care how long he hadn't been in the league. So Urban, I guess he's loyal to his guys, and maybe it'll work. He's got a vision. I think that's
the system.
Anyway, to bring it back to the Niners, that's going to be part of their offense this year. It's a part of every good offense. And if you want to have an efficient red zone or third down offense, it's part of it. So they got it.
I mean, honestly, those plays are money plays. Those aren't plays that you draw up and you just hope something that's going to happen. Those are plays that you're like, this is for the money.
Hey, sorry I brought Tebow into it. I should have prepared you for that. All I was trying to say is a philosophical point. It's what Urban's trying to do.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's going to succeed.
I tried to stay away from talking about him because he doesn't deserve my breath. But
the tight end thing I feel like is a red herring. Like, they're not going to line him up at Y and ask him to. Like, if they do, I'd be shocked. I think it's just a way to conceal their plan for him. Their plan. CJ says Hawaiian barbecue or Chipotle. Your boy is hungry. And how does Aaron Banks look? Oh, definitely Hawaiian barbecue. Like, it's Chipotle's a last resort in California. I don't know about New Jersey, but you can always do better than Chipotle in the Bay Area. You don't need to do that to yourself.
The Mexican food that I get around here is not Chipotle. It's not any of those. It's the hole in the wall places that actually make real tacos. And
you can get that on the East Coast.
Yeah. There's a place in Jersey City called Taqueria downtown. Incredible tacos, man. Incredible, bro.
That's one of the main reasons I would be scared to move to the East Coast is the lack of Mexican food. I eat that at least once a week. It's fantastic.
That's all I ate when I was in Cali. Yep, I was like, I'm not having anything else but that.
Yeah, I'll tell you how Aaron Banks looks tomorrow, man. I'll see him for the first time. I expect him to look like the biggest person I've ever seen. I mean, people talked about Kinlaw looking big. This dude is way bigger. Jeremy says, can we just wait to see Lance in the pros before we say he's better than Jimmy and this and that?
Did you already say that in this episode?
I don't think either of us said that in this episode.
Oh,
I mean,
we haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah, but fair enough. I will for you, I will.
in the interest of that question and not jumping off the bridge, yeah, for sure.